Hey ladies, this is Milk Mommy here bringing you another video, and in this video I want to talk about code, current events, and Doc McStuffins. So ladies, typically when someone asks me about current events or celebrity gossip or to provide social commentary on things that are happening in mainstream or black media, I typically defer to the black female content creators who share my point of view and who have a strength in that area. Call Me Coco does a really great job of social commentary. Um, Chrissy does a great job of social commentary and current events. So I usually would just defer to those content creators rather than chime in with my 2 cents. I certainly do have an opinion, and I'll share that with you as this video goes on. But for the most part, that's just not my strength. So therefore, I tend to not do it. So if there is a black woman who has a strength in that area, whether it be finance, beauty, social commentary, a woman who has a very helpful, cathartic channel that lets black women really discuss some of the issues that they're dealing with, I'm going to support those content creators because I think that they do a great job playing to their strengths. I don't consider myself in competition with them, but in collaboration with them because I feel that we all have different strengths and talents, and we all need to be supportive of one another in that area. So, shout out to those content creators who are really utilizing their gifts and who are walking in their own power and acknowledging their strengths and sharing those strengths and talents with other black women for us to improve as a collective. So, thank you, ladies, for all that you do here on this platform. But here's just some of the current events I've been asked about, and I'll just give you my opinion. Okay. Okay, so I've been asked about Dave Chappelle. I've been done with that nigga since 2003. The first year since the Chappelle show started, I knew he didn't like black women, so I don't care about Dave Chappelle. So now that he wants to try to galvanize cisgendered black women against trans women, you can miss me with that nigga. So bye. Also, I remember when he got kicked off of, well, not kicked off of, but when he was left Comedy Central and people were painting a lot of false narratives about him. The one person who gave him the opportunity to say and speak his piece was Oprah Winfrey. Okay, and I did watch that. That's probably the most Dave Chappelle I've ever watched. Um, and she really gave him an opportunity to speak his piece, to set the record straight about some of the false narratives that were being spread about him. And ladies, as I do my special on my video on Oprah Winfrey for the When Educated Black Women Became the Problem Part 2, you're going to really see there's a lot of parallels in how this community and the collective of black men view Oprah with how we are treated as a collective of black women. So as educated black women. So stay tuned for that. One thing I was asked about, in particularly at work, right, by the same black male security guard who's always trying to cause problems at the nurses station, was what I thought about the whole John Gruden and the racist email that he had sent 10 years ago. First of all, who keeps an email for 10 years? There's a bigger story behind this, trust me. About the racist email that NFL coach John Gruden had sent 10 years ago. So when I was asked that question, I said, first of all, when I talk about sports, I'm usually talking about baseball, not football. And second of all, what did Tony Dungy say about it? What did Mike Tomlin say about it? What did Herm Edwards say about it? All the black male coaches who were in the NFL at that time, what did they say about it? Right, exactly. So don't come bringing that to me, especially not at work. Unless John Gruden is one of my patients, I don't care. So as far as the Meek Mill album cover, Chrissy and Call Me Coco said all the things that I will co-sign on. But when I went to work today, do you know what the physicians were all talking about? You know what a lot of the physical therapists were talking about? All the quote unquote high value men, including our hospital CEO, when he was greeting patients today? He was talking about Cody Bellinger. That's who he was talking about. The National League Division Series Championship Los Angeles Dodgers. The game that I gave you guys back in March, that's what they were talking about on my job, not Meek Mill. Ladies, I understand that as a black woman, you have every right to stand up for your image, to stand up for yourself when you feel as if you're being marginalized or treated unfairly. And I support you in that. And the black women who are fighting that good fight, I give them my support. But one thing I want you ladies to know is that at work, I had noticed that this week there have been a lot of student nurses and student allied health professionals coming touring our facility. So I love that. That's one of the favorite parts of my job is interacting with the up and coming healthcare professionals. Because as I age and start to use the healthcare system, these are going to be the people who are taking care of me. So I always take a more hands-on approach whenever I see student nurses and student healthcare professionals out there. So with that being said, I was talking to a young, there's really only about two, maybe three, just got to feel it out a little more for the third, but two young black women healthcare professionals that I really kind of taken more of a hands-on approach with. And I was talking to one of them today because I sometimes bring them to the provider break room to have a cup of coffee and just kind of discuss things that they might need to be out of earshot. So one of the physicians saw me in there and talking to this one young woman. And then he says to me, I see what you're doing with these young nurses. And I think it's amazing. And I really am supportive of that. And you know what he told me? He had told me that 16% of all incoming healthcare professionals in the field of maternal child health is a black woman. We're 7% of the population. But we're talking about your nurse practitioners, your physician assistants, your obstetricians, your pediatrician, your certified nurse midwives, your doulas. In the next 10 years, we're looking at 16% of those positions being filled by black women. And what he says is it's like the Doc McStuffins generation is all grown up. And excuse me, but that made me really emotional to know that, with 1 in 3 black women, with 3 times the amount of maternal child deaths suffered by any other race of women being suffered by black women in the hospital setting, it really made me see that you guys have heard the call and you have stepped up to answer it. And to let you know how proud I am of you. So the goal now is to get these women through these programs, to get these young women through these programs, to support them as they answer the call and step up to the need that that black women and black children in the field of maternal child health really do need. And the fact that you ladies have answered the call, it just means so much to me. So with that being said, while you ladies are worried about Meek Mill and the 260,000 albums he sold, do you realize that 150 million people worldwide watch Doc McStuffins every quarter? So I get it. I get why they're attacking your image so publicly. Because you really are changing the narrative, ladies. You really are setting the pace. And I talked about it in an earlier video about Disney and their portrayal of black women versus our black male counterparts, and how the Disney Corporation in particular, the largest media corporation in the world, sees you. And this is our moment to take advantage of that. So while people who want to participate in certain aspects of the culture see you one way, Understand when you are moving in systems that go on meritocracies and social hierarchies, you might not necessarily be facing the same obstacles. Am I saying that it's perfect on the other side? No. But I'm saying is you can capitalize on this should you choose to. Because 260,000 albums is not a lot compared to the 150 million every quarter that are watching Doc McStuffins. It's not a lot. So you ladies can play into the narrative you want to play into. And I understand, but this negative publicity that Meek Mill is getting is negative publicity he needs. 260,000 is album sales is not a dent. And that's what cracks Billboard. That's not a lot. So they need your attention, whether positive or negative, to get their message and their images out there. Okay? And this is one of the reasons why we need to um, not necessarily react so viscerally. We don't need always a bunch of reaction videos. We don't need a whole bunch of social commentary about the same thing, because all it does is give them traction, and their opinion traction versus the overall growth opinions of what the rest of the society who adheres to meritocracies and certain social hierarchies. Um, Again, like I said, everybody was talking about Cody Bellinger. Nobody was talking about Meek Mill. So when it comes to the issue of social commentary, or current events, I'm going to leave that to the ladies who just do it better, who just have the talent and the platform to bring you a more well-rounded view of those issues in relation to being a Black woman. Where I need to focus is not on Meek Mill, but on the next generation of Doc McStuffins. This is Mocha Mommy, and I'll see you on the next video.